Welcome to Prime Debate. Allegations of rape against the army have again surfaced in Kashmir. This comes when the valley is returning back to normalcy after last year's unrest. While some say that allegations are aimed at derailing the efforts of the army to maintain peace, others say it is another instance of human rights violations by the army. In Prime Debate, we find out why these allegations continue to be leveled against the army in Jammu and Kashmir. The army has denied involvement in the alleged abduction and rape of a Gujjar woman in South Kashmir. However, it has initiated an internal probe into the case and assured full cooperation to the police.
Peace in Kashmir is once again threatened. Protesters have taken to the streets and even resorted to violence. A shutdown was even observed in the valley after a local woman levelled rape charges against army personnel. 30-year-old Ruqayya Banu in Kulgam district has alleged that a group of army men abducted and gang raped her.
वर्दी पोस्ट दो आर्मी वालों ने उसको आप ले लिया और वहाँ घने जंगल है और घने जंगलों में उसको उसके साथ एक दिन दो रातें एक दिन उसके साथ उसमलरी की है.
The army has denied Banu's allegations. General Officer Commanding of the Army's 15 Corps, Lieutenant General S.A. Hasnan said an internal probe has been launched into the case and strict action would be taken against the guilty. He, however, cautioned that the allegations may have been levelled to defame the force and disturb the peace.
I want to make it very clear that this is an allegation. मेरे तरफ से तो अगर इसमें कोई भी सच्चाई है, अगर if there's any truth in this, then it's a criminal act against which the strictest action must be taken.
This is not the first time such allegations have been levelled against the army. However, in most of the cases, it has been found out that these allegations were false, an indication of the fact that the separatist forces might be at play. This time around, when the valley is returning to normalcy, such allegations could have a bearing on the peace initiatives.
To discuss this issue, we have in our studios R.S. Bains, advocate and human rights activist, Lieutenant General B.S. Jaswal, former GOC in C, Northern Army Command, Justice T.S. Doabia, former judge of the Jammu and Kashmir High Court, and Dr. Shruti Bedi, Assistant Professor, Institute of Legal Studies, Punjab University, Chandigarh. Welcome to the discussion. General Jaswal, I'll start with you. One more allegations against the army, and this is despite all the efforts the army is claiming it is making on the human rights issue. Are you surprised?
Well, I'm not surprised at all. As a matter of fact, now what you were talking, I hope you're not presupposing that the allegation is true. You should understand the background under which this particular case has been highlighted. You will realize that in the valley as of now, the physical impact of terrorist activities has died down. We've been able to decimate and we've been able to constrict this space. So as an alternative, psychological impacting is now the agenda of Pakistan, and that they try and highlight by highlighting such like incidents. Now this particular case which has taken place, enough has come out in the papers already. If you go through it, you will realize that there is no truth in it. Now this has been hyped up. This has been hyped up.
When we say that, are we also not presupposing that there is no truth in this?
No, I'm saying so. I'm saying so. You're right. We have launched a probe. But the indicators of that, for instance, there's a dichotomy within the family itself as to when she was kidnapped. She has been changing her statement thrice. First she says that two army people abducted her 50 meters away from her house. Then she says it was some local. Then she again says that there were two people from 62RR, motivated statement I would say. They picked her up. Now all of us know in the valley, the militants, the terrorists, they have been masquerading in army fatigues. Then she's a mentally deranged person. There have been no physical evidence after examination as far as
But General, don't you think it will be difficult for any women to allege that she's been wronged, she's been molested, she's been raped?
If her mental state is not right, she's mentally deranged in any case. The mother, Amina Bai, I think, yeah, she's not saying anything. She says that she would know.
When you were commanding the Northern Command, did you face such allegations even at that point in time?
Galore.
What percentage of these allegations were proved to be correct at that time?
Total 1,500 odd cases of human rights violations have taken place since 1990. Only 35, 2.3%, they've been proved right so far. Rest are all false. And if you work out the percentages of all this, if I recall the figures correctly, it's just about 5% have been the rape cases out of it. 40% is there for, alleged killing, etc.
So even given that background, even this looks like a false allegation.
It is. It looks to be.
Just you've been, the judge of the High Court there. What sense do you make out of all these allegations? Is it a failure of command, in your opinion, in the army, or you think it's a part of the propaganda?
It's not the failure of command. It's definitely, to some extent, militant propaganda. I have been there for 5 years, and when I was dealing with the criminal roster, about 40 or 50 cases came from the ordinary rape cases in Jammu area, and 3 or 4 cases came through court martial, because court martial can be challenged in writ proceedings only.
Yes.
2 or 3 cases, so you can just see how much is the percentage. And one thing good about the army is a trial in the ordinary court takes years, but so far as the army is concerned, court martial is concerned, it is very quick.
Well, that's very heartening to hear that a judge is actually appreciating the army system of justice.
And then I appreciate the local people also. I was in Srinagar for 6 months. So far as the local population is concerned, they are very happy with us. At least they were very happy with me at least. They wanted me to stay there for a longer period.
Yes, I know you made some landmark judgments there.
And
Justice Wabi, in this particular case, the police have ordered an investigation by the SIT, a special investigations team. The army has also ordered an internal inquiry. Do you think this is enough, or much more needs to be done?
This is a special investigation team that has been set up by the government. That is just to satisfy the local population, that we are looking into it. The army, they of course has to do it. Once the army people are involved, they have to do it. They have their own procedure which they follow, and they are, as I said, quick in it.
Right. Dr. Bedi, what do you make out of this? Now, General Jaswal, he feels that these allegations are false. But why do you think these allegations surface again and again?
I think the situation in Jammu and Kashmir is such that, there are bound to be such kinds of allegations, because there are all kinds of elements. You have people who do not want the peace process to go ahead. There are elements who would not appreciate the fact that Kashmir should be become a part of India, and especially internationally, you are trying to target the Indian army with allegations of human rights violations. So there is.
Rajwinder, what do you think is the truth in this particular case? Do you think it's a part of the propaganda again, or do you think the army, the way it is functioning in Jammu and Kashmir, it is functioning under the siege mentality?
You see, our failure as a country, as an organization, as an army is that we don't really take an allegation on its face value and investigate it. If you are investing so much, even if it's a false, if it's a propaganda, the only way it can be dispensed or you can tackle with it is by inquiry into it. Each time the army gives there's no. How can you presuppose anything? It's a serious allegation.
Rajwinder, they have ordered an internal inquiry.
They do it under much protest. Why do people have to come on roads to order a heinous crime of 3 days? Person, if she's mentally, if she's trauma, I mean, if you imagine there is some truth in it, if a woman is kept for 3 days, gang rape, will she be normal? Will she not? She will be a deranged person. It's a traumatic thing. But
Rajwinder, Justice Dwabia, from his experience in the High Court there, he feels that the army normally acts very fast on such cases.
No, we also from our experience only are saying that either the police force in this country or the army or any organized thing, they stonewall whenever their own men are involved. They stonewall everything.
No, but the army definitely has a different ethos than the police forces.
Maybe, but look, we have come cases where army people have done fake encounters for promotion. They had done so many bad things.
But
only thing is,
those isolated
you have
cases.
Too many disappearance cases. From '84, we have been saying it. It's only that against army, it's very difficult to lodge a complaint. Very difficult to investigate. There is a walls and walls of laws where you can't pass them. Though it's a holy cow, everybody feels very good, every countryman should be, but ultimately these allegations are real rape and murder. You will have to
let me take you back to 2 previous cases. Recall the February 1991 incident. There was an allegation of mass rape of women at Kunal, Poshpora in Kupwara district. The Press Council of India instituted an inquiry by an eminent journalist, B.G. Varghese. And B.G. Varghese, after a detailed investigation, in his report said that the rape story was a massive hoax orchestrated by the militants.
Possible. I am not at all saying that they do not may be false, but the only way to do it is each and every allegation has to be independently investigated, and then the people confidence will generate. Why do people protest? They don't believe the army. They have lost the trust. Why do people come in massive and you have no respect for thousands of people protesting? I mean, if you are a nation or a democracy, I think the only thing they are asking for, let us find out the truth.
Dr. Vedi, let me come back to you. Since you worked on this, you've written a book also on terrorism. Why do you think people don't tend to believe the army's point of view?
I think the action of the army, army, I don't think it does enjoy a very good reputation in our country, and there are elements, as I said earlier, who are trying to undermine the reputation of the Indian Army. The Indian Army is a disciplined force, and it tries to maintain that discipline, and we are always looking at the army to solve our problems, be it any issue. Why do we depend on them?
I think our expectation from the army is that they should not be even making a mistake.
No, see, there are human errors everywhere, but as Lieutenant General Jaswal said, that in this case it does seem that it may not be the right thing, because it does seem that she is...
It may not be the right thing. Now let me recall, Rajwinder, the second incident. This was when two women of Shopian, they alleged rape. The people alleged that they were raped and then they killed. In that case also the CBI brought out that the rape story was false.
That the women were dead. The woman never told a false story. It was the faulty investigation, it was a doctor connivance, how they messed up the whole thing.
So you think the CBI investigation was faulty?
No. I believe the CBI investigation brought out the truth. But the women were dead in a suspicious circumstances. In those situations, if a people rush to the conclusion that usually young women, are found dead in a place where there was an army camp, if they rush to conclusion. But that is why the investigation is important. That is why a credible agency in the nation believed CBI.
General Jaswal, we understand that the army does its best under these circumstances, but why do you think these allegations stick against the army?
First is the allegation itself, don't mind. I think you're far from reality that we do not carry out very incisive investigation. Let me tell you, I've gone through the ranks myself, ranks in the sense that of being able to inquire. What I'm trying to say over here is that at each stage, I think we never held back an investigation. And I can tell you very frankly, having been in the Northern Army, my first instruction used to be, if I find anyone hiding anything, sorry, no one can save him. We are very strict. We are extremely strict. And we do not hide things under the carpet. There are cases, there may have been cases, where people would have covered up. Like you said, there are fake encounters. They have. Any organization for the matter. We are of the people, for the people, and by the people. We train them. But yet, there are certain inadequacies which do remain. And if in case such things have happened, it is well bad thing. But it's not a permanent mark for the army that the army doesn't do its job.
Justice Dave, just before we go into a break, a quick reaction from you. Do you agree with what General Jaswal is saying?
No, I'm